try and balance, he's trashing his family brand a little bit here. I mean, whether you like Biden or you don't, and I understand the last few years of his mandate it had big issues that were not addressed in that interview.
A guy who seems to have some regrets and also a lot of vengeance on his mind is Hunter Biden. We played you a couple of clips of this interview that he did about a week ago where he just went scorched earth on these Democrat dingbats. And I want to show you one more clip today. Here he is going after the Pod Save America guys and Barack Obama. And Obama seems to be in a lot of hot water right now. But the Pod Save America guys, they were just speechwriters. They were, as Hunter called them, I think he said they were mid-level speechwriters for Obama, but they've somehow become like big podcasters on the left. Watch him just go scorched earth. And this, again, it illustrates just the fight within the Democrat Party. What are we doing? Are we going to be anything like the Democrats of old, whether you agree with it or not? Or are we going full-blown Obama, Mondami, crazy commie crapola?
And so then the drumbeat began. And the New York Post the New York Times, on a near daily basis, egged on by the Pod Save America saviors of the Democratic Party, with four white millionaires that are dining out on their association with Barack Obama from 16 years ago, living in Beverly Hills, telling the rest of the world what black voters in South Carolina really want, or what the women in the waitress living outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin really believes. I mean, what the I mean, I can't believe that we do this over and over again.
Yeah. This is such a great example of the Godzilla let them fight thing. First off, Hunter, you are a millionaire who became a millionaire only because of your dad's connections, who lives in Malibu. So whether these guys are millionaires in Beverly Hills or not, like, okay, I get your point, but okay, that's one part. But interestingly, he brings up something that connects this to what Molly was talking about how the lies get laundered through the system. So how is it that for years we all saw what was going on with Hunter Biden, but it could not get through the system? The airlock did not let it get through the mainstream media until the June 27th, over a year ago now, the June 27th debate, where it was so obvious that the airlock basically exploded. It no longer worked. And then on mainstream media, it was pushed. But what he says is that it was the Pod Save America guys leaking to the New York Times all the time. That's Obama. So when they used Biden as long as they could, and then when it finally broke down, it's the same leaking. So the leaking of the Russiagate story to the New York Times and everything else is the same way they do everything as it pertains to Biden or whatever other lies they want to launder through the system. Here's Kevin O'Leary, who I love playing clips of because he just lays it out cleanly and straight up. Here he is talking about that Hunter Biden interview and what Hunter's kind of angle is right now.
When I watch this, is he setting himself up to go into new media, podcast, maybe streaming, something where he's a voice that represents the angry Democratic platform that he is? I mean, clearly that's the position he's putting forward. That's one side. On the other side, which I think he has to try and balance, he's trashing his family brand a little bit here. I mean, whether you like Biden or you don't, and I understand the last few years of his mandate it had big issues that were not addressed in that interview, but you got to remember, he was a lawmaker for decades and a respected one, even if you didn't believe in his policies. But this is, in my view, if this was my son, I'd take him behind the barn with a stick and I'd beat him.
Wow. So you've seen the cussing ones.
You just don't do. The family brand is being trashed. That's my view. And I think that's a horrible way to end it for the original Biden.
It's so interesting what Kevin's saying there, because he's saying two things that seem like they're in opposition, but they're both right. Is the family brand being trashed? Well, all the Biden name has now is to throw the crack addict out there, right? There's nobody left. Joe is, what did I say? Joe's going to be seen 2 more times. I thought 2 more times post-presidency, like in some sort of official capacity. He gave one really bad interview and we saw him, he gave one really terrible speech, right? I don't know that we'll ever see him again in official capacity. Yes, you're going to see him maybe walking to get ice cream, but that's it. So they know they're done with him. Jill, because she was so obviously complicit in all this, it's hard for her to go out there and talk because she looks like the evil witch that she is with the abuse of her husband. So the crack addict is suddenly like, I'm the man now. And so there's an irony. Is he trashing the brand because he says F every other word in that interview, and he's speaking in an extremely crass way. He also told people how to make crack, which he didn't think the president's son was going to do that. Is he trashing the Biden brand in some sense? Well, the answer to that obviously is yes. You might argue that Biden himself trashed the Biden brand because of the utter incompetence, and he was basically an autopen. So that's one part of it. But the other part is that in some sense, yeah, does he want to be a podcaster or something else? But that's probably right, actually. Like, he has to figure out what his career is going to be post-dad, right? And the art thing's going to dry up, obviously, because no one's going to buy his artwork knowing that access to his dad doesn't exist anymore, right? That money laundering thing's over too. But what he's doing, ironically, I mean, this would be, you can't make this. Imagine if the crack addict son of the man with dementia becomes the sort of voice of the sane Democrat. He hates Obama. He hates the socialists and the lunatics and the Pod Save America bros and all of that. He hates all of them. He's a cracked out nutbag who's completely uncensored. He could become their Joe Biden. He could become their Joe Rogan. That actually would be something. So imagine if the Democrats, to whatever extent that party should or could be saved, is saved by the crack addict who is the son of the pen. Okay, fine.